Howdy, and welcome to History Times. Today we will be discussing Manifest Destiny. Manifest Destiny, a philosophy, a rallying cry, an excuse for war. Jinkies! This ideology has led to a number of unfavorable events, such as the Trail of Tears, the American-Mexican War, and the Civil War. Double jinkies! Today, however, we're not really going to be focusing on the Manifest Destiny as much as we will be talking about the Battle of the Alamo. Before we get into the crazy details of this awful battle, we're going to discuss what led up to it. So take it away, Austin.
Throughout the 1800s, the idea of manifest destiny, a phrase that wouldn't be officially coined until James K. Polk's presidency in the 40s, became a driving force in the search for new territory. In 1803, the U.S. acquired nearly 2 million square miles of territory from France in the Louisiana Purchase. At that time, Louisiana was far larger than it is today, causing America to nearly double in size. In 1819, Mexico began to populate Texas. In 1821, Mexico achieved full independence from Spain. Their land stretched from present-day Mexico throughout Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, Colorado, and California. In 1823, President James Monroe declared that the Western Hemisphere was off limits to European interference, which was primarily directed towards Britain, who had already colonized parts of Canada because they wanted to snatch some of that Pacific territory. It was because of this ideal for expansion that both America and Mexico shared that influenced the latter to invite new peoples into Texas, or as they called it, Tejas. Tejas was greatly underpopulated during the early 1820s, so they gladly welcomed the merchants and travelers going through their lands. However, those who settled and those who were already in the area were not united. They were not only divided in titles, but in ideals. In order to live in Tejas, Americans were required to become Catholic and follow Mexican law, which, fancy that, Americans weren't all that fond of. Texians began to complain about these regulations and, instead of returning from whence they came, decided to protest the Mexican government. As to be expected, tensions grew, and Mexico refused to allow any more Texians into Tejas.
So Trump stole the idea. I mean, that's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah.
I know I heard this before. This is just like discriminatory deja vu.
At this point, it's 1833, and President and General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna is shifting away from the then-present Mexican government into a dictatorship. Dun dun dun!
Santa Anna revoked the rights given in the Constitution of 1824, and the Texians, many of whom still recalled the pressure of Britain on their families, worried about what was to come and began to revolt. In October of 1835, Texians engaged Mexican troops in the first official battle of the Texas Revolution, which the Texians systematically overcame. Enraged with what Santa Anna believed to be immigrants interfering with Mexican affairs, which, to be fair, it was, he classified all foreigners found fighting to be pirates. Any of these pirates that were captured were to be executed. February 1836, Santa Anna calls for Mexican citizens to join him in the fight against the Texians, more of an enlistment than a voluntary process. He acquires somewhere between 1,500 and 5,000 men. The exact numbers are unclear. On the other hand, Colonel William B. Travis and James Bowie, co-commanders, gathered around
200. They gathered 200 Texian men who believed it was better to fight for what they wanted than to die under tyranny.
That's rough.
Yeah.
What troop is that?
It'd be like
True.
that, though.
And there's one very famous soldier amongst them. His name is Davy Crockett.
Ew. I don't like Davy Crockett.
Why?
Because he made it his mission to just go out into the wilderness and find the ugliest animal ever and just wear it on his head all the time. Who does that?
Raccoons are great.
Raccoons
He's
are
wrong.
terrible.
February 28th, 1836. Santa Anna and his troops advanced upon the Alamo, a mission church in San Antonio, Texas, being used as a makeshift fortress by Anglo-Texan rebels. They had been firing and attacking casually for the past few days, but to little effect. An account by Juan Alamonte stated, They erected another battery at the Old Mill, 800 yards north, and attempted to cut off water from the fort.
At least they had their integrity,
I mean, true. If you're
You
gonna
can't
die.
eat integrity though, but
You can't.
they're gonna
Can't
starve.
drink integrity.
They,
Will die.
Yeah.
Spoiler. The time is 4 a.m. It's March 6th, and Santa Anna and his crew advanced within 200 yards of the Alamo's walls.
At the break of dawn, Santa Anna's first charge, and the next, were all overcome by the Texians' attacks, until one Mexican column breached the north wall. In the end, only 16 of the original 200 Texians stood. Those slain included James Bowie, William Travis, and Davy Crockett. Along with men, women, and children fighting at the Alamo, the Mexican troops lost close to 600 of their men, while another 500 were left badly wounded.
that's terrible. What is this, Game of Thrones? Oh my god! They're killing off all the main characters.
The Battle of the Alamo's impact on Manifest Destiny holds significance because it forced Americans to acknowledge the impact of their expansion. Once they had the opportunity to seize a new land, they refused. They wanted to grow, but didn't want to face the consequences of what that could mean. Having another state that, at the time, legally allowed slave ownership could easily upset the balance between the free and slave states. It was those tensions that did inevitably lead to the Civil War, but without the sacrifices of those fighting on both sides of these battles, we wouldn't be here today.